You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 183.
Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets.
What's up, coaches? In this episode, I'm going to share the power of email marketing. So do you ever wonder whether email marketing is really effective today? Do you wonder if people truly read their emails anymore? Maybe you think with the rise of social media that email marketing is dead. Well, if you believe any of those things, I want you to think again, because you are missing out on a huge opportunity to grow your coaching business. In this episode, I'm going to share with you how you can leverage the power of emails to attract clients. And this is not something that is just for big businesses. This is something that you want to incorporate as early as possible into your business model and your marketing strategy. Okay, so I'm going to break it all down for you, whether you're brand new to email marketing and you don't know what that is. I'm going to share what it all means, and I will go over my tips for you to create value-driven emails that are not spammy, but rather inspire people to work with you. So first of all, let's start big picture. How does email fit into your marketing strategy? So there's really three phases that someone goes from when they first discover you to them actually working with you. And I call this the client journey. And whenever you're starting your coaching business, it's essential that you outline what is your client journey so you know how someone goes from being a stranger to a potential client to a paying client. And we have templates for our students in the academy that guide them through filling in all of these, connecting all these dots and filling it in. So I'll give you a brief overview of what it all means. So the client journey starts out with the discovery phase. And this is when people learn that you exist for the first time. So this might be through social media. It might be through a podcast. It might be through a referral. It might be through a networking event, or maybe a speaking engagement that you had. So this is the discovery phase. Someone learns that you exist and that you're a coach. After that, they go into the awareness phase. So in this phase, this is where people learn more about what you have to offer, and they might start seeing you as a potential solution to whatever challenge that they have. They might start realizing that your coaching or your program could really help them address a problem that they have in their life. The third phase is the invitation phase. And this is where you extend an offer for people to work with you. It's when you invite them to take action and enroll in your coaching program or hire you to be their coach. Now, what a lot of coaches miss out on is what happens between the second and third stage that I mentioned. So what happens between the awareness and the invitation phase? Because the reality is a lot of your clients will not become clients the moment that they become aware of you and they discover you. There's actually going to be this transitional period between them knowing what you have to offer and them working with you. And this period is key because this is where you really want to build a relationship with someone, offer them value so they feel really great about their decision. And I call this the nurturing phase. And this is really where email marketing is going to become key. The nurturing phase is really where you're building a relationship with your potential client and your audience. You're addressing whatever concerns and questions they might have. You're providing continual value for them, and you're keeping them engaged so that way when you make your invitation, they feel confident about taking that next step. Okay, so that is the big picture, understanding the client journey and how that nurturing phase is key. And I describe often with our students in the academy that growing a business is similar to growing a garden. So the same day that you plant the seeds is not the same day that you'll enjoy the fruit. When you are connecting with people and growing your network, you're planting lots of seeds. It's so important that you water the garden and tend to your garden so that way it becomes it sprouts all the beautiful plants and flowers. It becomes the garden you want it to be. So this is what that nurturing phase is. And this is what you'll often do through email marketing. So think of email as like the nurturing process that you have in when you're growing a garden. It's giving them consistent care, giving them attention, just like you give plants water and sunlight so they grow. So let's talk about why email marketing really is so different from other strategies out there. One is because of the ownership you have over your audience. This people that have given you permission to email them, they become what's called owned traffic. Okay, owned traffic. You have control over this audience. And here's what I mean by this. Let's say that you have a social media following. Let's say you have a few thousand followers on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, whatever it is. All of those followers are not actually owned by you. They are owned by the platform. Okay, they are owned by the platform that you're using, which means that at any given day, you could lose access to that platform and you could lose access to all of those followers and all of those subscribers that you've been building a relationship with. And this could happen for any reason. A platform could suddenly disappear or it could get banned. A platform might block your profile, even if it's accidental. Or algorithms and policies might change and you might lose this following that you've been working so hard to build a relationship with. However, when you have an email list, this is traffic that you own. It means you have direct access to that audience and you're not relying on a third-party platform. So this is why I encourage our students in the academy that whatever way they're marketing themselves, whatever way they are having their clients discover them and become aware of what they have to offer, make sure that you are inviting your clients to join your email list. So this way you own that traffic. Owned traffic means you have direct access to them. It's not like social media where it could just suddenly disappear in any given moment. And this has unfortunately happened for like many people who are big on social media. They suddenly lose access to their account and they have to restart their whole following. But imagine instead if you were to lose access to your social media account, but you still had a good portion of your followers as subscribers to your mailing list, it doesn't really impact your business. So having an email list creates stability for your business because it's traffic that you own. This is the most key reason why email marketing is so important. Now, another reason it's so important is because of the direct communication that you have with your network. It's direct communication and it offers sometimes a more personal touch and a more focused way of interaction than social media, where someone might be distracted by all the other things that are grabbing at their attention. Email is a great way for you to build relationship and trust with your audience. Sometimes, like I shared earlier, the first time someone hears about you, they're not necessarily going to hire you right away. That doesn't mean that they will never hire you. It doesn't mean that they're not interested. I've had many people that have been on my mailing list for months, sometimes years before they hire me. And when I have clients that do hire me, they say they appreciate the consistency. They appreciate that they've been able to receive emails from me over time, that I've been continually in touch with them. That is something that's built trust with them. We actually just had a module last weekend, and one of our coaches, one of our students in the program, said that she was on our email list for probably 4 or 5 months before she decided to enroll, and she really appreciated all the emails she was getting about podcast episodes and just other tips for becoming successful as a coach. So this is the nurturing process that you create when you have a mailing list. It allows you to provide value to people over time and also start to demonstrate your expertise and the ability you're going to have to support them. I think that email lists are great for cross-promoting whatever other types of ways that you market yourself. So what I mean by that is if you have social media channels that you're posting on, you could share with your email list links to access those posts. If you have podcasts, episodes that you're releasing, you can share with your email list whenever you are launching or sharing new episodes. Like if you're on our mailing list with Thriving Coach Academy, I think it's every month we share out a recap. We share a recap of all the episodes that were shared on this podcast from the month. So that way you can catch yourself up, or you can just choose what episodes most speak to you. So we use our email list to also educate our following about monthly episodes that are being released. If you have upcoming workshops or webinars or events, you could share that with your email list so they are informed about when those events are happening and how they could register. One of the other reasons why email marketing is so great is because you can segment your list. What that means is you could tag various emails to easily send out messages that are going to be relevant to them. So it's like dividing them into different groups. So let's say that you wanted to just send out an email to some of your clients in your group coaching program. You could easily assign a tag to all of your contacts and then make sure that you send out an email that only goes to those clients. Let's say that you want to send out an email just to your VIP or one-on-one premium clients. You can make sure you send out an email to them. Or if you just want to send out an email to all of your prospective clients, meaning people on your mailing list that haven't yet worked for you, then you're also able to do that. So this is a nice way to filter, to organize, to make sure that the right person is getting the right message, right? Because when someone enrolls in your coaching services, you don't want to be sending them promotional emails or emails that might not be relevant to them. Now, there's a lot of assumptions that coaches have whenever they start learning about email marketing, and I want to address some of those so that way you're not consumed by some of the lies that you might hear out there. One is that you need a really huge email list to be successful, and this is absolutely not true. It's all about quality over quantity. Having a small engaged list can be really effective, so don't think that you need thousands of people in order to have an effective email marketing strategy. And also, another myth that people think is that all emails should be promotional. This is not true. And there might be some companies that you're on their mailing list and you're finding that you're constantly unsubscribing because they might be overly promoting to you. The approach that I encourage our coaches to take is to see their email list as another channel for them to provide value. So the majority of your posts and your emails are going to be educational, they're going to be informative, and this is the key to build a successful email marketing strategy. Another myth that people often believe is that when you have unsubscribes, that this is a bad thing. It is natural for people to unsubscribe from your mailing list over time. What you want to do instead is focus on the people that are still subscribed, that are still engaged. You can track to see how many people are opening your emails and clicking and unsubscribing. I don't recommend you get too hung up on the numbers. What I recommend you do instead is just focus on providing continual value. Keep yourself focused on that. Whenever someone unsubscribes, then they are making space for a new ideal client to come your way. Okay. Now, I've had people that sometimes in the past have complained and said that I send out a lot of emails, because many times in my business, I would avoid sending out a lot of emails. So I would just send out one a week, but I found that it was so inconsistent and I was not really able to have the true impact I wanted to have and give the value I wanted to give. So I started to send emails out every day or every other day. And some people that turn them off, but it's interesting because sometimes people say, wow, you sent so many emails, but then they still became clients. And they say, even though you sent a lot of emails, they were still very valuable. So I would rather you have that kind of impact on your audience where you're over delivering the value and you're sending more than enough than sending more sporadic, infrequent emails that are just going to get lost with the rest. Okay. So I'd rather you send out more emails than not. And of course, you want to make sure your emails are value driven. Okay. This is what people will appreciate, even if it's a lot and it might be overwhelming for them to get an email every day from you. They are getting value from those emails, which is building trust. So I've had people complain about my emails one day, and then a few months later, they're like, I want to join your program. So if someone unsubscribes, that's one thing. But even if you have some people on your mailing list give you feedback and say that you're sending a lot of emails, then it doesn't mean that you need to stop sending emails and just sporadically send them out. Okay. So just know it's natural for some people to be frustrated at first, maybe if you send them some emails, but those people may eventually become your clients and you get to make an impact, you get paid, you transform lives. So I'd rather you be mildly irritating for people initially and give them value over time and they become your client than not, okay? So think about the long term here. A lot of times when people are irritated by emails, it's just because they're used to spam emails, but then they'll see over time that your emails are not about that. They're about providing value. So let's talk about how you get people on your list. How you get people on your mailing list, there's a couple of ways. One is someone might directly give you permission. So let's say you're at a networking event and you, rather than like exchanging a business card and just keeping it very static and just very surface level, you can instead say, hey, I have a mailing list where I send out updates and I give more resources. Would you like me to add you to that list? And if your potential client, if the person you're meeting says yes, then you can add them to your list. But for the majority of people nowadays, the way that you are added to a list is you opt in. So on a website, there is a form that either pops up or that you can find. And that form invites you to provide your name, your email, and possibly your phone number. And once you do that, you are automatically added to the company's mailing list. And you probably noticed this for various businesses that it could be clothing companies, it could be any kinds of gadgets and gizmos that you might purchase, companies that you follow. Often when you go to their website, they are asking you to provide your name and email, and then you're getting periodic emails from them about deals and promotions. So this is how you get on that. You have people join your mailing list. You invite them to fill out a form. Now, it's not enough to really say, hey, fill out this form so I can email you. What you want to do is lead with value. So have a resource that you will provide to someone in exchange for their email. We call this a lead magnet, okay? It's something that magnetizes leads to your business. And in Thriving Coach Academy, we give all of our students training on how to create their own lead magnets. But what you want to do is create something of value. It could be a resource, a video, a guide, a checklist, a template, something that in order for them to get it, it's like, hey, if I will give this to you, all you need to give me is just your email. So that is the exchange that happens. This is the most common way that you will grow your mailing list. A lot of other businesses, what they do is they will say, if you sign up for our mailing list, we'll give you 10% off your first order. So this is probably things that you've experienced when you've done online shopping. Now, those are the ways, that's how you get people on your list. I want to share some of the biggest mistakes that some coaches might make when it comes to email marketing and share tips that you can use to avoid these mistakes. Number one is just overloading your list with just promotions and offers. So if you are constantly just promoting your coaching and telling people to sign up, this can lead to unsubscribes. It's definitely important for you from time to time to let people know how they can work with you and how they could register for your coaching. This is absolutely important, but the majority of your emails will be about giving people value. Okay, so instead of promotions, I want you to think about what tips, what insights, what stories, what how-tos can I provide to my audience to give them value. You want to be providing consistent value. And nowadays, you can automate a lot of this. A lot of coaches will create what's called a drip campaign, where at various points, their list is automatically sent out emails. So it might be on the first day that you're on the list, you're going to get email number 1. On the second day, you get email number 2, etc. This is also really great because it guarantees that there's going to be consistent messaging throughout, right? Instead of you trying to track who you sent what resource to, it just makes sure that everyone who joins your mailing list, they're going to get the same value and the communication will be consistent. So you can have a series of pre-scheduled emails that get sent out to your email list over time based on specific time intervals. And we can help all of our students in the academy get that set up. We'll show you how to get all the text situated there. It is not complicated. We will make it very simple for you. So you provide value over time, and you might get upset because people don't respond to the emails you put out. The reality is most people will not respond to the majority of your emails, but this doesn't mean that they're not receiving value. So even if they don't reply to every email, which they won't, that doesn't mean they're not getting value. Most of your email list will silently be appreciating you and silently be receiving value. You really need to trust the process and not expect instant gratification from this, or really any marketing strategy in your business. Email marketing is no exception. The next mistake that some coaches make is the subject lines of their email. Okay, you want to make sure that your subject lines are short and sweet, simple and clear. Okay, make them very short and sweet. So aim for just maybe a few words, a handful of words. Ensure that this is going to be easily visible on most devices. You really want to have a subject that's either benefit driven or it's curiosity driven. So for example, you want people to know exactly like what is going to be in the email, or you might just drive some curiosity for them to open the email and see what's in it. So for a health coach, one example of a benefit-oriented email subject line might be how to have more energy after work, right? A curiosity-driven email subject line for a health coach could be 5 surprising foods that boost your metabolism. So you see how like someone who is on that coach's list would be interested to open that email to figure out what the tips are from the coach. I'll give you another example. Let's say there's a relationship coach. A benefit-oriented email subject line could be 5 simple tips or 5 simple communication strategies for new couples. A curiosity-driven subject line could say, the secret to finding lasting love revealed. Okay, so I either focus on the benefit or evoke curiosity in a way that's still going to appeal directly to your ideal client. Okay, so that is the next tip, is have compelling and clear subject lines. The next tip here that I want to share is to not make your emails too wordy. Okay, some coaches think like they have to write a novel whenever they're sending an email out. Keep them short. No more than 250 words in an email. It should not take your followers and your readers, your subscribers, it should not take them more than 1 minute to read your email. Okay, so the shorter, the better. Someone should be able to open it up, scan right through, get the picture, and then be able to go from there, because people have other emails they probably need to get to. So that's why you don't want to make them too long. If you're making your emails too lengthy, they may just scan through and say, you know what, I don't have the time to read this. I'll get to it later, but then they will forget about it. So keep them nice and short. The last mistakes that a coach would make with their email list is not starting one. They are waiting too long to build their list. They're delaying the start of it. And this can result in missed opportunities. So the sooner that you start capturing people's email, of course, always with their permission, right? You always get permission before you start emailing someone about your services or putting them on a list. As soon as you start doing that, the better. You're going to start planting those seeds and growing that garden. So remember, email marketing, as we wrap up here, it is not just about sending messages. This is all about building relationships. It's about owning your audience, owning that traffic, and having a personal way to connect with them. And every email you send, it's an opportunity for you to provide value, for you to build trust, and for you to nurture those relationships all the time. So don't fall for those myths about how email marketing doesn't work. It's very much alive, it's powerful, and it's accessible to businesses of any size. So the sooner you start, the more consistent you are. You're going to see how those seeds that you plant in your little email garden grow into those lasting and loyal clients. So that's what I got on email marketing and how to really take advantage of this opportunity. Before you go, I'm going to share with you a snippet from an interview that I had with one of our coaches who's gone through our program. They're going to share with you their experience and also their tips for you to be successful as a coach. So enjoy their story, and I will see you in the next episode.
My name's Austin. I first discovered coaching when my management consulting firm offered an executive coach to come in and be like a supplemental service for all of the consultants. After I left that firm, I hired her personally and have been excited about making it my career journey ever since. I think what I was missing years ago in my career was a sense of fulfillment, because I looked 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the line in the industry that I worked in, and I didn't like what I saw in terms of what life looked like and what was important in life to say, the people at the top. So after my very first weekend of training with Thriving Coach Academy, I enrolled my first paid client the very next day. Then I enrolled my second paid client later that week. It's been more demand typically than I can keep up with ever since. I think a big shift that had to take place in my mind in order to finally enroll paid clients was to start trusting myself to really pursue this path, and then also to trust the knowledge and wisdom of Frank and the academy that he's built, and understanding that he has figured out how to build a thriving and an ethical coaching business that is valuable to everyone involved. A couple of months into the school, I opened up 8 spots for consultations, and within one day, I had 10 people telling me that they were interested and signed up for those consultations. Everywhere I go in my life, I'm meeting people that I can help. And that's a very empowering feeling. I never would have believed how quickly not only I could raise my rates, but that I would have to raise my rates based on the demands that I received once I started putting myself and my coaching out there. I've raised my rate to a point where I am making 3 times the hourly rate that I used to make when I worked in corporate strategy in tech. Coming into the academy, I had resistance around what it would actually look like to have consultations with potential clients and offer my services. Through my own courage and the trust that I have been able to place in the academy and the resources that Frank has developed and provided, I am finding so much unbelievable success in every consultation that I have. It's never felt easier to figure out how I can help someone and not even have to convince them of that, not even have to prove how I can help the people in my life who are coming to me looking for coaching. I mean, I never would have had it this quickly without the academy. I'm 25 and I first became interested in coaching at the age of 20. And the responses that I've gotten from people in my life when I share that interest has not always been necessarily understanding of how those two things would compute. But with Frank's training, it's helped me to understand that my age has nothing to do with my ability to coach. My coaching ability is based on factors that are intrinsic to my ability to connect with other human beings, to listen powerfully, to ask powerful questions, and push people to do incredible things. To hold ourselves back based on a factor like age that doesn't really determine how much value you can bring someone, it's not a good idea to hold ourselves back. I was doing it for too long, and sometimes in my head I think, oh, I wish I would have started earlier. If you are considering Thriving Coach Academy, reach out when you before you feel ready. Reach out when you feel like you need help to understand how this can be real for you, because it really can be. And I've never been happier now that it's becoming real and has been real for me. My greatest piece of advice for a new student entering the academy would be to be coachable, because the more that we open our minds up to new mindsets and possibilities that may feel wonky, that may feel weird, all we have to do is be open to something that is perhaps different than what we've been doing. The coaches that I see who are coachable and really override a sense of ego of, well, I've already been a consultant, I know what I'm doing, and I'm smart and I can do this by myself. We can all figure it out, but we only have so much time in which to make an impact in the world. And people who are coachable make the biggest strides in their learning, their development, and they make the biggest impacts now.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.